Welcome back. A Tehachapi High School graduate and former Eagle Scout has been locked up in a Russian prison for 10 months now, awaiting trial.
And ironically, he's as much a prisoner of the COVID-19 pandemic as he is the authorities in Moscow. 17's Robert Price joins us now with the story of 28-year-old Trevor Reed.
It must have been an exciting time in his life. Tehachapi grad Trevor Reed, a former Marine attending the University of North Texas, had met a young Russian woman while on vacation in Greece. Their long-distance relationship was in its third year when he traveled to Moscow in May 2019 to meet her for an extended visit.
Reed couldn't have known just how long it would be. It was mid-August when, at a party with his girlfriend and some of her friends, he drank too much vodka. Way too much vodka. Moscow police picked him up. His father, Joey Reed of Granbury, Texas, Zoom calling from Moscow, where he has rented an apartment, explains what happened next.
They said he reached up and grabbed the right arm of the driver and shook it a couple of times, and that caused the driver steering to wag or wobble, as they said, causing the police vehicle to go into oncoming lanes, and they feared they were going to turn over.
Because Trevor Reed is a former Marine and was interviewed the night of his arrest by the FSB, the equivalent of our CIA, the media has drawn connections to the case of Paul Whelan, also a former U.S. Marine, who Russian authorities have charged with espionage and may now be a pawn in a possible spy-for-spy prisoner exchange. But Joey Reed, whose family lived in Tehachapi for 16 years before moving to the Fort Worth area in 2011, says there's no way his son could be involved in anything remotely like that.
I know people say, well, you don't know your kids and all that. Well, when he's in your house like 27 hours a day.
Joey Reed says witness statements as well as street surveillance video cast doubt on the arresting officer's contention that the police van swerved, and he's eager for his son to have his day in court. But Trevor Reed's trial has already been postponed 4 times because authorities at the prison, fearing the spread of COVID-19, refuse to go along with the court's trial schedule and won't allow defendants to leave their facility.
The stakes are high. Trevor Reed faces the possibility of 10 years in prison for what Russian authorities call a level 2 crime. His next court date is June 30th, but another postponement still looms as a possibility. In the 17 newsroom, I'm Robert Price.
Bob, before we let you go, Bob, I assume it's got to be incredibly frustrating dealing with another country's unfamiliar language and the court system there. What is Trevor Reed's family doing to get him home?
Well, Joey Reed and his wife Paula, Trevor's mother, are asking their friends, their acquaintances, anyone to call their members of Congress, no matter what their congressional district might be, in hopes that those elected representatives will keep this case on the radar of the U.S. State Department.
Okay, well, I know you'll be tracking the story. Thanks a lot, Robert Price, in our newsroom tonight.